Okay, challenge 29 says the wages earned by a worker is either £2 for every teddy bear they've made or £5 for every hour they've worked, whichever is larger. Write an algorithm that allows the user to input the number of teddy bears made and the number of hours worked. Calculates the wages for the number of teddy bears made and calculates the wages for the number of hours worked. Outputs the larger of the two results. So this is a relatively straightforward algorithm where we can easily identify the variables that need to be used, and we can also see that there's going to be some sort of selection that needs to be made because it says outputs the larger of the two results. That means we need to compare the two values and only output the larger one. So we're going to have a go at starting this one now. I'm just going to clear what I've done for 28 and make a start on this. So when we read through the actual program, you can see that it says allows the user to input the number of teddy bears made. So that's pretty straightforward. It almost tells you what to type in. So teddy bears equals, you can only really make one whole teddy bear, you can't really make half a teddy bear, so we're going to put it as an integer and we're going to just type in a sensible message, so enter the number of teddy bears made. Now underneath we also need to put in how many hours they've worked. Now possibly you could work half an hour, you could work 7.5 hours on one day, so we're going to put this one as a float and we're going to put hours worked. So we've got our two integers, we've got our two messages. Now what we do is do our calculations. So it says that they got £2 for every teddy bear they've made and £5 for every hour they've worked. So we need to calculate the wages for the number of teddies and the wages for the number of hours worked. So I'm just going to call it teddy wage and hour wage, just for short. Now to calculate the teddy wage, we need to multiply the teddy bears by £2, and to do the hourly wage we need to multiply hours worked by 5. And once you've done those particular calculations, we are going to compare the two results. So we're going to say if teddy wage is greater than hour wage, then print you have earned teddy wage. Now this is one of those cases where there isn't really any alternative. It's not using an input, it's comparing two initial values. So there is no elif, it's just an else. So if teddy wage is greater than hour wage is one option. The only other alternative is that they are the same, or that you've got hour wage is greater. So actually, now that I've said it out loud, we're going to say if they're the same. But then if you think about it, if they are the same, it doesn't really matter which one you output, does it? So we're just going to get rid of that and keep else. Keep the same output message, but this time we're going to output hour wage instead. So if teddy wage is greater than hour wage, then we will print out what the teddy wage is, and anything other than that being true, it will output the hour wage. And if they did happen to just be identical, it doesn't really matter which one of those that you output. So that is the actual algorithm done. We're just going to have a little test and see whether it works. So we're going to enter the number of teddy bears made. I've got that horrible thing again where I don't like it being at the end of the sentence, so I'm going to put my /n in so that it moves down onto the next line. That is something that you definitely don't need to be worried about in the exam, but for actual coding it's very frustrating. So we're going to put in 10 teddy bears. Now we know that that should be £20. and the number of hours worked, we'll put 10 as well. And it says we've earned 50. So that's because we've worked 10 hours at £5 is definitely more than 10 teddies at £2 each. So that is definitely working. The other thing that I'm going to do is put in the pound sign. So just by putting in the pound sign, it's going to make the program look a little bit better, because when we actually run the program, it adds the pound sign in before the amount earned. So that is basically done. I'm going to try doing it the other way just to make sure that it does actually come up with the other option. So we want to make sure that we make loads of teddy bears and only work for 10 hours. And that is now right. So we've earned £200 because 100 teddies at £2 each is better. So we know that the program is definitely working.